January 1st, 2026, the first day of the first month of a year that reduces to one. A triple alignment that happens once every 9 years. And if you miss this window, if you let this threshold pass without conscious intention, you won't get another chance like this until January 1st, 2035, 9 years from now. Think about who you were 9 years ago. Think about everything that's happened since then, every choice you made, every person you met, every version of yourself you became and outgrew. That's the weight of a 9-year cycle. And right now, in this moment, you're standing at the beginning of the next one. This isn't motivational content. This is mathematics. Numerology has existed since the first civilizations because numbers carry frequency. And the frequency of 2026 is unlike anything we've experienced in nearly a decade. When you add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6, you get 10. And when you reduce 10, 1 plus 0, you arrive at 1. The number of new beginnings, of initiation, of pure creative potential. But here's what most people don't understand. Before it becomes 1, 2026 is 10. And 10 is not just a transitional number. 10 is the wheel of fortune, the moment when fate and free will intersect, when everything you've planted in the last 9 years either blooms or withers, when karma completes its accounting and decides what you carry forward and what gets left behind. 2025 was a 9-year, the hermit, the closing chapter. And if you felt like everything was falling apart, if you experienced loss, endings, isolation, crisis, that wasn't punishment, that was preparation. The universe was stripping away everything that couldn't enter 2026 with you. Every relationship that ended, every job you lost, every version of yourself that dissolved, it had to go. Because what's coming requires a different you, a clearer you, a you that's finally ready to step into the life you've been building toward for 9 years. And here's the urgency. You have exactly 12 months, 365 days to set the trajectory for everything that unfolds until 2034. Every choice you make in 2026 will echo through 9 years. Every project you start, every relationship you commit to, every belief you adopt, every habit you build, they become the foundation, the seed, the code. And once this year ends, once the window closes, you're locked into that trajectory until the next 9-year cycle begins. This is why January 1st, 2026 matters so profoundly. It's a 1-1-1 portal, a triple alignment of the number 1, the most powerful manifestation day of the decade. And what you do on that day, the intention you set, the identity you claim, will determine whether 2026 becomes the year everything changed, or just another year you wished things were different. Carl Jung spent his life studying the collective unconscious, the patterns that repeat across cultures, across time, across human experience. And one of those patterns is the cycle of death and rebirth. The old self must die before the new self can emerge. 2025 killed who you were. 2026 births who you're becoming, but only if you're willing to step through the threshold consciously. Only if you're willing to claim the power that's being offered, because the wheel of fortune doesn't wait. It spins whether you're ready or not, and the question is whether you'll rise with it or be crushed beneath it. Let me tell you what the number 1 means, not metaphorically, energetically. 1 is the magician. In tarot, the magician stands with one hand pointing to the sky, one hand pointing to the earth. As above, so below. He's the channel between spiritual potential and material manifestation. In front of him sit 4 tools: the sword representing mind and clarity, the wand representing will and action, the cup representing emotion and intuition, the pentacle representing body and resources. Everything he needs is already present. He doesn't wait for permission. He doesn't feel ready. He simply acts. He manifests. He creates. And above his head floats the infinity symbol, the lemniscate, representing unlimited potential. The magician understands something most people never grasp, that creation isn't about acquiring more, it's about recognizing you already have everything required. The only question is whether you'll use it, whether you'll claim your power, whether you'll step into the role of creator instead of remaining the victim of circumstance. 2026 is your magician year, and the universe is asking, what will you create? But here's what makes this even more potent. We're also entering the year of the fire horse in Chinese astrology, beginning February 17th, 2026. The fire horse only appears once every 60 years. It brings bold, unrestrained momentum, instinctive decision-making, accelerated growth, the return of your inner flame. Where the snake year of 2025 asked you to move slowly, strategically, with wisdom, the fire horse asks you to trust your instincts and move fast, to stop analyzing and start acting, to stop preparing and start becoming.
When you combine numerological year 1 with fire horse energy, you get something rare, a cosmic permission slip to completely reinvent yourself, to burn down old identities, to leap before you're ready, to trust that the path will appear as you walk it. This is not a year for caution. This is a year for courage, for claiming what's yours, for refusing to dim yourself to fit spaces that were never meant to contain you. Research in psychology confirms what ancient wisdom always knew. Identity is not fixed, it's constructed. Dr. Dan McAdams, who studies narrative identity, has shown that the stories we tell about ourselves shape who we become. And the most transformative moments in human development occur when we consciously rewrite those stories, when we choose a new narrative, when we say, this is who I was, but this is who I'm becoming. 2026 is that moment, the moment where you get to decide which story you're telling for the next 9 years. Viktor Frankl survived concentration camps by finding meaning in suffering, and what he discovered changed psychology forever. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Most people live reactively. Life happens to them. They respond automatically based on conditioning, fear, past wounds. But conscious individuals create that space. They pause, they choose, they direct their own becoming. 2026 is that space, that pause, that choice. And what you choose now determines the next 9 years of your life. Drop in the comments what city you're watching from, because right now there's someone in Toronto asking these same questions about 2026. Someone in Santiago, someone in Austin, someone in Berlin, all standing at the same threshold, all feeling the same pull towards something new. And there's power in knowing you're not alone, that this is a collective awakening, a shared opportunity, a moment when millions of people simultaneously recognize that change is not only possible, but inevitable. Now, let me tell you what you must do in 2026. Not what you should do, what you must do if you want this to be the year everything shifts. First, define your identity, not your goals, your identity. Because goals are external, identity is internal. And research from James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, shows that lasting change comes not from outcome-based goals, but from identity-based decisions. You don't want to run a marathon, you want to become someone who runs. You don't want to build a business, you want to become an entrepreneur. You don't want a relationship, you want to become someone capable of authentic intimacy. So ask yourself, who am I becoming in this 9-year cycle? Not what am I achieving, who am I being? Write it down, make it specific. I am someone who trusts their intuition completely. I am someone who creates beauty and gets paid for it. I am someone who maintains boundaries without guilt. I am someone whose presence makes others feel safe. Whatever it is, define it, because you cannot become what you haven't named. Second, choose one focus. The magician has 4 tools, but he doesn't use all 4 simultaneously. He chooses one. He focuses. He directs all energy there. 2026 is not a year for doing 10 things adequately. It's a year for doing one thing extraordinarily well. What is your single priority, your one non-negotiable? The thing that if you accomplished nothing else, you'd still consider this year a success. For the next 12 months, that becomes your North Star. Everything else is secondary. Third, take immediate action. Not perfect action, not calculated action, immediate action. The fire horse doesn't plan forever, it moves, and momentum creates clarity. You don't need to see the entire path. You need to take the first step, and then the next, and the next. Research on motivation shows that action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You don't wait to feel motivated, you act, and motivation follows. So what's the smallest step you can take today? Not tomorrow, today. Take it. That's how transformation begins.
Fourth, eliminate ruthlessly. You cannot add new patterns without removing old ones. Your time, your energy, your attention are finite. So what are you removing in 2026? What relationships are you releasing? What habits are you breaking? What beliefs are you discarding? What obligations are you refusing? This isn't cruelty. This is stewardship. You're protecting the most valuable resource you have, your life force. And you're directing it toward what actually matters instead of scattering it across things that drain you. Fifth, embody the frequency. This is where most people fail. They set intentions mentally, but never shift energetically. But manifestation isn't mental, it's vibrational. Neuroscience research on mirror neurons shows that your nervous system responds to imagination as if it's reality. When you vividly imagine being the person you're becoming, your brain creates the same neural pathways as if you were already that person. So spend time every day feeling into your future self, not thinking about them, feeling them. What does it feel like in your body to be that person? How do they move? How do they speak? How do they make decisions? Embody that. Live from that frequency and watch reality reorganize itself to match. Now, let's talk about what happens if you don't do this. If you let 2026 pass unconsciously, if you continue reacting instead of creating, if you stay in the same patterns, the same stories, the same limitations. Here's the brutal truth. The wheel of fortune spins regardless, and if you're not intentionally rising, you're passively descending. The momentum of a 1 year doesn't care about your readiness, it creates. And if you're not directing that creative force consciously, it creates chaos, random circumstances, unintended consequences, a life that happens to you instead of through you. And you'll look up in December 2026 and realize you wasted the most potent year of the decade. You'll see others who seized this moment, who transformed, who manifested, who became. And you'll understand that the opportunity was there, you just didn't take it. And then you wait 9 years until 2035, until the next 1 year, the next new cycle, the next chance. But 9 years is a long time, long enough to build an empire or waste a decade, long enough to become unrecognizable or remain exactly the same. The choice is yours, but it must be made now. If you want to stay connected to content like this, to threshold moments, to consciousness awakening, subscribe to this channel, because we're building a community of people who understand that transformation isn't loud, it's intentional, it's conscious, it's choosing to show up for yourself again and again, even when no one's watching. And if you're ready to make 2026 your best year, you need to be around others who are doing the same, not for motivation, for resonance, for the reminder that you're not crazy for believing you're meant for more. Here's what ancient wisdom teaches that modern culture forgot. Time is not linear, it's cyclical, and cycles create opportunities, windows where energy aligns, where change becomes easier, where transformation that would take years in other contexts happens in months. 2026 is one of those windows, and you're being asked to step through it, not forced, asked. The invitation is there. Whether you accept it determines everything. There's a concept in physics called phase transition, Water at 99 degrees is just hot water, but at 100 degrees it becomes steam. Same substance, same molecules, but a single degree of temperature creates a complete transformation. That's where you are right now. 99 degrees. You've been heating up for 9 years, learning, growing, becoming, and 2026 is the final degree, the moment everything you've been building suddenly shifts state, suddenly becomes visible, suddenly manifests. But you have to reach that degree. You have to apply that final increment of heat. You have to show up with the intensity this moment requires. Not forever, just for 12 months, just for this year. Can you do that? Can you give 2026 everything you have? Can you stop holding back? Can you stop playing small? Can you finally claim the power you've been carrying all along, but were too afraid to use?
The Hermit of 2025 taught you to walk alone, to trust your inner knowing, to find answers within instead of seeking them outside. That was necessary, but it was preparation. Now the Magician of 2026 asks you to take what you learned in solitude and bring it into manifestation. To create, to build, to become. The tools are on the table. The power is in your hands. The only question is whether you'll use it. Soren Kierkegaard wrote that life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. You can't wait to understand everything before you act. You have to act and trust that understanding will come, that clarity emerges through commitment, not before it, that the path appears as you walk it, not when you're standing still trying to see the end from the beginning. 2026 requires that faith, that willingness to move before you're certain, that courage to become before you know how. And here's the final truth. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from everything you learned in the last 9 years. Every failure taught you what doesn't work. Every loss showed you what truly matters. Every moment of solitude built the inner foundation you'll need for what's coming. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. It was all preparing you for this, for 2026, for the year you finally stop waiting and start becoming. The wheel of fortune is spinning. The magician is ready. The fire horse is galloping, and you're standing at the threshold of the most powerful year of the decade. Will you step through, or will you watch from the sidelines, wondering what could have been? The choice is yours, but it must be made now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because January 1st, 2026 is coming, and when it arrives, the portal opens. For 12 months, for 1 year, for the foundation of the next 9 years of your life. Don't waste it, don't wait, don't hesitate. This is your moment, and you're ready, even if you don't feel ready, especially if you don't feel ready, because readiness isn't a feeling, it's a choice. And the universe is asking you to choose right now. Choose yourself. Choose transformation. Choose to make 2026 the best year of your life. Not because circumstances align, but because you decided they would. That's power. That's magic. That's creation. And it's yours if you're brave enough to claim it.